AITAH for kicking my mother-in-law out? I, 24F, and my 31M husband have lived in our tiny apartment with 3 young children, 10, 8, and 3. 2021 in January, I was informed his mother was being evicted due to her refusing to leave her financially abusive relationship, and they went to live in the woods from Jan to April 28th. A little backstory. When I met my husband 5 years ago, she treated me like garbage, always comparing me to his ex-girlfriend that he is almost married and had the 2 older kids, to the point I would physically get sick if I had to be around her. April of 2022, she had been staying with us to help with our baby, and in the middle of helping us one night, she got up, left with one of the kids, and said she was bringing them back the next day. At that point, I was suffering from PTSD and needed an extra hand, which my husband was not doing. We got in a fight, and he called his mother. She came back, threatened to attack me, and took our daughter for 3 days while my husband had me admitted to the hospital. After that, I never treated her the same. This April, her mother, my husband's grandmother, passed, and I have always had the mentality that if you are nice to me, I'm nice to you kind of thing. She had been very nice to me for a long time, so I tried to be a comfort to her and told her I was thinking of her and checked in on her the whole 9 yards. 3 days before the end of April, he came to me and explained she was being kicked out of the spot where she was staying and would be coming to stay with us for a while, which was okay by me. I would have some help around the house and someone to talk to since my husband is a first responder and works a lot. 3 days into her living with us, she started throwing down rules like my children can't play in the living room anymore, my 3-year-old can't have naps anymore, and I started feeling anxious and sick around her, so I called my mom explaining everything, and she came and picked me and my youngest up for the night. It wasn't till I got to her house that I realized my husband worked in the morning, so I called and said, "Hey, I forgot you work tomorrow, do you need me to come home?" He reassured me that no, I don't need to come home. He and his mother got it handled. I said okay, but told him to tell her if she needed me to call me. I texted him 4 or 5 more times that night to make sure he knew if he needed me to come home to call, and my mother would bring me. I even messaged his mother, but no reply from her all day. Saturday and Sunday comes along and he comes and gets me but doesn't say a word to me about anything. Won't even speak to me. I get home and I'm getting our youngest settled down for a nap and I hear his mother scream, "My name, get out here right now, we need to talk." So I replied with, "What now, her name?" And this is where she started attacking me, saying I'm a bad mother, I'm disgusting, I keep the youngest in the bedroom all day. I never do this or that, and that was when I piped up and said, "How dare you speak to me like that in my own home? I asked you both multiple times over the last 3 days if you wanted me to come home." No one replied, and she started going on about how they were cleaning, and I replied, "Are you serious right now? You were online when I messaged you." And she replied, "No, I wasn't," and called me a liar. And husband is losing it at me in front of the youngest, who is screaming and crying. So I turn around and pack my stuff and tell him my dad is on his way to come get me, and they tell me I needed to go back in the house and clean up my filth. She had thrown garbage bags in my bedroom and diaper boxes. I said no and started calling the cops cause she was trying to take my daughter again. And I said, "No, that is my child, you're not leaving with my child." The cops show up, they take both our statements. And the cop is telling me that I should have a conversation with my husband about whether or not she needs to be in the home. So I go in packing my things to leave, and the cop says he can have the child till 5 p.m. Then I'm allowed to come get her. So I'm packing to leave, and he's chasing the youngest in the house. So I'm yelling so he can hear me, and his mother flips out and tells me to lower my voice, or the cops will come right back. And I tell her to leave me the hell alone, so I can have a private conversation with my husband. So she goes out, stands on our deck, waving her hands like a madman, screaming that the cops need to come back and deal with me, but when the cops come back, he tells me to lower my voice. I apologize and ask some legal questions, and they go to leave. I finish packing my stuff, and husband tells me to leave and go wait for him, and when I walk out, I hear her tell the cops she's concerned for her grandchildren's safety. And that was when I realized how little she really cared, and I only stayed at my mother's for a few hours before I came home and told him I don't feel safe in my own home, and I shouldn't have to live like this. And the following day, she came at 8 p.m., grabbed her belongings, and left. I don't feel an ounce of sympathy for her. I would if she didn't say that, opening up a child safety case on us by telling the cop the kids weren't safe. She now calls every morning and every night to talk to him. He won't go anywhere or do anything in case she needs him, and quite honestly, I'm kind of sick of her acting like he needs to take care of her 24/7. It's annoying and rude. So I guess I just want to know AITAH for telling her off and that she needs to leave.